Hello, my name's Carl, my call sign is Mike 0 Sierra Zulu Tango, and this is just a quick video just to talk about a packet repeater that I've just set up, and I've got a NOV license for it in the UK. So this is a license to run and operate an unattended repeater. So the repeater is MB7UZT and it operates in the local area, in the Staffordshire area where I live. I just wanted to just give a little bit of detail on the build and the maintenance of the repeater. So there's some great videos out there on how to build an APRS, iGate and digipeater. I'm not going to do another video on that. There's some, there are some good ones around, but I want to just give a little bit of detail on how I've built this repeater and the sort of day-to-day maintenance of it. So in the past few weeks, I've done one or two videos now from in here because we're still in lockdown, so it's led to a number of different projects that I've been tinkering around with and pottering about with. So one of them is running an APRS, iGate and digipeater, and this is something that I tried a few weeks ago when I did a video of one of the few walks that I've done with a radio recently, and that was around Kiel. I have now progressed that packet repeater further now, so I applied for an NOV license to RSGB, and I've got the license for MB7UZT, so it's a 12-month NOV license, and I can operate on 144/800, which is the APRS frequency. So I needed to actually have an APRS system that I could leave unattended and was configured to run the most optimal that I could get it. So currently I'm using a Raspberry Pi, I think it's Pi 3 or might be Pi 4. I'm running two pieces of software on the Raspberry Pi. One is Direwolf, which acts as a software TNC and acts as digipeating, but I'm also running a second piece of APRS software on the Raspberry Pi, and that's called APRX, and I'm running these two applications in tandem. One talks to the other. The APRX talks to Direwolf via an open port 8001. The reason why I'm using APRX as well as Direwolf is because I've got a weather station here. It's just using a Netatmo, in one of those sort of cute Netatmo weather stations. So to actually get weather data out through my repeater system, I have to find a way of getting the weather data from Netatmo into a APRS packet. And one way of doing that is using a piece of weather software called Weewx, Weewx, that actually gets my weather data from the Netatmo service, and that then is collected by APRX, which then packets the weather data up and passes that on to Direwolf for sending through Direwolf. And that was easy, the easiest way of getting not only my iGate and digipeater set up, but also getting my weather data out as well through the iGate and through RF. So hopefully you're with me so far. So that's the software side of things. APRX, Direwolf, Weewx, get some weather data, all working together, all very happy. So from a radio point of view, I'm mostly at the moment I'm using the ICOM IC9700, which provides a direct USB plug into the Raspberry Pi, and it's quite easy then to get the sound card of the ICOM, and because the ICOM allows you to send PTT control, the push to talk, that can be sent through the USB as well. So it's pretty easy to get that up and running on the ICOM. And with the ICOM, it allows me to turn the power down to about 1 watt, because I'm only allowed 1 watt at the back of the radio, because I've got some serious gain on the V2000 antenna up on the roof, so I'm only allowed really to have very low output at the back of the radio. So the icon allows me to dial it down to 1 watt. But what I have been working on in the meantime is I've got the Yaesu FT2800, and the FT2800 was the one that I used quite a while ago on a RayNet exercise, one that completely conked out on me, one that completely failed on me. I've replaced all the power cable to it, and it's all up and running now, so the radio is working fine and dandy. So I've been messing about getting Signalink, because I've got a Signalink box doing nothing. So I've now rewired the Signalink so I can get a direct connection at the back of Signalink into the front of the FT2800, and I've configured the Raspberry Pi to talk to the Signalink as well. So I can actually, if I wanted to, I can switch between the FT2800 and the ICOM. Eventually the ICOM will no longer run the packet station, because it's a big radio and it's an expensive radio just for running a packet station. So what I need for the FT2800 is a power reducer, because I'm putting 5 watts out of the back of the radio. I want to get that down to about 1 watt. So there's a couple of different ways of getting the power reduced. That's what I'm looking at next to sort that out. What I'm also thinking of doing, let me just get this right. I've also got a Motorola GM350. I want to just play around with this. I want to look at, I might just cut one of these ends off and wire this up to either the Signalink. I've also got a Mini Pro SC, so I'm thinking of wiring this to the Mini Pro SC and having a second APRS station running somewhere, or whether this is just something I just take out with a Raspberry Pi Mini Pro SC wired. So I've got that to play with as well. I'll manage that later. The repeater's been running about 4 or 5 days now since I got a license, and what I've been doing to manage the repeater is I tend to keep a few tabs open on the Raspberry Pi so that I can monitor the logs of the Pi and the Direwolf and APRX. So I have those logs running so I can keep an eye on them. Direwolf itself produces a nice running commentary of activity, so you can spot if you have any problems with any decoding any packets. So that's great, that provides me that ability. But also going to APRS.fi, going to the main APRS site, I can actually have a look at the telemetry from the repeater, so I get an idea of what I'm receiving, what I'm transmitting, what I'm iGating, and I can tweak the settings in Direwolf to make sure that I'm not flooding the system, and that I'm also actually doing some useful repeating and iGating in the local area. So that's what I tend to do. I tend to run from the command line. I run the logs as well as looking at the main website. So between all of that, it gives me a good view on the whole system and how it's running. And then sometimes I actually I run my FT3D either on a dog walk or even from the house. I can actually have a listen to what's being repeated as well. So it's been fun so far running all of that. Something that I've noticed in the past few days is there's a small number of other ham operators that run iGates and digipeaters within the 50-mile radius, and you get to know who they are because you're picking their packets up, you're seeing the activity, and you can tell when they're switching their repeater on and repeater off. You see the changes in the activity levels, and you get to know some sort of scheduling that they run as well. There's a few of us actually that cover quite a wide area, and I've had a few emails as well, so thank you for those people I've emailed to say thank you for running the packet station. It's good to know that actually I'm not just doing it for my own enjoyment, that other people are using APRS and maybe increasing their use of APRS in the local area. Even though I know that the APRS repeater that I've set up isn't going to be a backup for any emergency situation. It's mainly there for education and enjoyment purposes. But even knowing that people are getting something from that, I think actually feels quite, feels like I'm contributing to the local area. MB7UZT, I will maintain it. I will put updates out through APRS, through the bulletins on APRS. I will update through Twitter as well, so I'll just use MB7UZT in my tweets. So if you want to follow any updates on the repeater, either go to Twitter or on YouTube or via the bulletins on APRS as well. So thank you for watching. Hope you found some of that useful, and hope you enjoy getting some benefit from MB7UZT. So bye bye for now.